in between where our mission is faith, purpose, and conversation.
Yes, thank you for joining us today as we walk together with Christ and continue to advance his kingdom.
Alrighty, so we have a new face today on our show, so we're just going to introduce ourselves and then just jump right into our first episode. So if you would
She's old to us and new to y'all.
Yeah, old. Old, it was just her birthday.
Okay. So my name is Renea. I'm excited to be here. Kind of nervous though, but I'm excited.
Yes,
So.
and she just we're gonna say our age. So how old are you?
I'm 22. I just turned 22.
I'm older though still. And my name is Jarvray, and I am also 22.
And I am Jemiah, and I'm 23. I'm the oldest of the bunch,
Yes.
a little bit.
Yes. So we just want to get in.
You know what's crazy?
What?
Okay, so like when you turn 22, you're her age, but then when you turn, like we're all the same age at one point in our lives.
We're actually triplets. No, like
I
our
just thought about that. So I'm like, y'all are both, but we're both 23. Like you're gonna be 23.
Because we're triplets.
Okay.
I don't really know what else to say.
All right.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna try to find that. Hopefully, Renee, can you send me the picture?
All of us.
And we'll
All of
post
us.
of okay,
yeah.
guys. We have known each other for forever. There's a picture of us really, really young, and I'm super tiny. And people who were watching the introduction were like, it looked really good, but you looked very tiny. And I'm like, you guys, I am very tiny. That's literally been our dynamic. So right now, I'm sitting on a pillow. So if you see me kind of moving around, it's because I'm literally on a booster seat right now.
That is so funny.
You actually did a booster seat at 5 years old.
Yeah.
Literally.
Alrighty, so we're just gonna get into it. Let's just start off with just what's up with us and God. Let's just break the ice, see where we are. The last time we met was about a week and a half ago. So let's just do a temperature check and just see what's up with you and God.
Yeah, so I'll start. So me and God, we talked about this in Sunday school as well. I am going through a mourning process right now, trying to mourn the life that I thought I was going to have and really trying to submit to God and his will for my life. It hasn't been easy. Some days I really just need to find the motivation or just find just the discipline to get out of bed and just really be productive. But I'm grateful for what he's getting ready to do in my life and in our lives together. So, yeah.
Nene,
Me? I feel like right now, me and God, I feel like we're okay. I feel like this is just like another step that I'm taking, like to get back to my old relationship with God. I got a little off track, but I'm taking the steps to get our relationship back good. And yeah, so that's how me and God, we're getting there. We're getting there.
Good. Well, me and God, we're doing good as well. I am in a weird phase right now where I'm like, okay, you know that phase when you're like, when God is doing all good things for you and y'all like, it feels good. I'm in that phase where it's like, I'm not really getting everything that I want. So I'm having to still be like, okay, God, but I still trust you. Yes. And like, that's
in between.
Yes. And that's something I never do is like, I love God when he's doing what I need him to do, but then when he does it, I'm just like, whatever.
No,
you know what I mean?
It's easier. Let's be real. It's easier to love him, and to really appreciate and
when
lift our hands. But what
Mm-hmm.
about like when nothing's happening?
Yeah.
You know,
so me and God are good.
Yeah.
Because I know that he's gonna be faithful. But again, like I wouldn't say I'm in mourning like you, Jemiah, but I'm in something.
Yeah,
but
it's weird.
It's really weird, but we're getting there.
I love that. We're all in different phases, but like we said, we're just committed to this walk. So.
Yeah. Alrighty, well today's episode is titled Everybody's Got Choices.
We're
gonna
Shout out to
be
E40.
right.
Like we really grew up on him though.
My dad's one of his favorite rappers.
Yeah, we grew up on
choices.
No. Remember we used to just sit in his car just listening to
at the bus stop, remember?
Yeah, just sitting.
The ambassador?
Oh, I'm the
car
ambassador.
rumbling.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Girls, I feel it in your stomach. The beat is so loud. It's like, I'm uncomfortable.
Yeah, no.
Oh my God. So today's episode was slightly inspired by E40, but we're making it faithful in Jesus' name. So today we're going to be coming out of Luke 9, verse 23 to 25. Jemiah will go and read that, and then we're just going to break it down, y'all. Really.
Yes, so I'm reading from the NLT version. It says, "Then he said to the crowd, if any of you wants to be my follower, you must give up your own way, take up your cross daily, and follow me. If you try to hang on to your life, you will lose it. But if you give up your life for my sake, you will save it. And what do you benefit if you gain the whole world but are yourself lost and destroyed?"
Wait.
Gosh.
And what do you benefit if you gain the whole world but are yourself lost or destroyed?
Yeah. Like Lecrae said, why gain the whole wide world if I'm just gonna lose my soul?
Oh.
Ooh.
Well, when you put it that way, you know.
Hey, we got a choice, just like we said.
Right.
So I just want to jump in and maybe just explain how we've seen this. I know I am in this season right now, but I know we've all been there. So I just want to jump in. Maybe if you guys seen this in your walk with Christ, if you have a specific example or anything that you want to talk in really basis on.
Well, yeah, I think verse 23 really stood out to me because it literally is simple. If you want to be my follower, you must give up your own way, take up your cross daily, and follow me. Mm-hmm. I think for me, I really was stuck on, I go to church on Sunday, and I pray periodically, and that's it. Mm-hmm. But when I realized is when I really needed him, it's so hard to hear when God's talking to me because I don't have a relationship with him. And so it's like, cool, if going to church one day a week, praying a few times, if that's enough for you, that's fine. But when you're having a hard time hearing what God wants you to hear, don't be mad at him. Right. God, why I can't hear it? Because you don't have a relationship with him like that. So don't be mad at the man. You be mad at yourself. And I think that was just like, it's so simple, but it's so real. If you want to be my follower, you have to give up your own way. You have to be with me. And I'm going to guide you, but if you want to do your own thing, I can't. Listen, I don't have.
Listen.
And I think that's the hardest thing is giving up our ways. Because, we're so stuck in our ways all the time. And just if we just stop being so selfish and we could that's the word, selfish. Selfish.
No, literally.
He's not selfish with us. So we can't be like that with him, basically. Like,
so like he is not selfish.
No, he's not.
But we think, God, this is what I want to do. Yeah. Well, if the man chose not to die on the cross, it would be a real different situation we are in right now.
Yeah, literally. It reminds me of, and I know we can all relate to this this scenario, but it's just about, like when a boy and a girl, and they find somebody that's real good for them, and they're like, he or she is cool and all, but I ain't ready fully to commit yet. And that's literally how it is with God. Because it's just like, I felt the peace, like he's giving me what I need, but I gotta give up too much.
Right, we could just be talking.
Yeah, we're in the talking stage.
But I don't want to really. Yeah.
But if I'm ready to let you go, I need to be able to do that.
And not have no guilt, and not have no guilt in my heart.
Exactly. And I think for me, it was seeing this in my own life. It was more of trying to think of everything I had to let go, rather than realizing that all that I was going to be added to me if I continue to just walk in his ways. And I'm so stuck on, I'm going to have to not do this, and I'm going to have to let go of this, and it's just like he's not worried. That is nothing compared to what God has for us. And so just shifting our mindset to say, all that he has cannot compare to what we have now. And our obedience is greater than our sacrifice. Right. And I had a really hard time learning that, because I'm like, okay, so how do you want me to have fun? I'm young. I'm living in my 20-somethings.
I'm supposed to be young and turn. I'm supposed to be young and turn.
Exactly. Like, what's going on?
And you can't do both. You can't do both.
Exactly. You can't be in the world and you can't follow him.
Exactly.
You have to do one or the other, because that's when that lukewarm Christianity comes in. And so it's just to say that, shifting that mindset that once we continue to walk with him, it's going to be able to fall off gradually. But I'm not going to go cold turkey, in which I have. And going cold turkey made me run back to my old way.
Much quicker. And then you're resentful with your faith. But it's like, he's like, I'm not telling you to do all that. I'm just saying, just start to add me. Just start to add me. And I think in my personal life, it's like you said, you were so focused on what am I gonna have to let go. But once you really just let God use you, then that old stuff, you're just like, I don't really care to do it anymore. I don't really, but you were so focused all them years on what you had to let go. You done wasted 5 years. You could have already been 5 years
being
locked
in. Being the same spot.
And it's just like, then it's so funny because then I look back and I'm like, I don't really care to do that stuff. But like 5 years ago, I was like, how am I going to do this up? I'm going to be doing this. And I think that is so true. We get so stuck on like, what can't I do? When it's like, if you're already going in with that mindset, like, don't
already second guessing everything.
Exactly.
And that's what I tell everybody. You don't think you need behavior modifications before coming to Christ. Like you said, let him change you, because if I do it myself, I know I'm not going to do it right. So continue to gradually, every step you take, He's going to just reintroduce you to himself in different ways, and just to know that he's a loving father, and he just accepts us how we are, but knowing that as a father, as any parent would, they want to see us do better, you know, and just seeing him as that loving father rather than an authoritative figure, you know, and always just trying to, well, you have to do this and you have to obey, but no, he's also like, come to me, give me a hug, you know, I understand that it's hard to let go of this, let me hug you for a second, you know, and so just being able to feel his presence in that way, and just shifting our mindset of who God is to us.
And I think that's when like being in the Word comes in. Because, you know, he can't physically give us that hug that we need. And we can't, like, you know, like, really, like, he can't just come really sit down and talk to us. We have to read his word and be in the word to understand, like, what he's saying and what he really wants us to do to, like, you know, make our life better, like, you know, to follow him. So that's, like, really my biggest thing is, like, I just need him to come talk to me. Like, I can't just keep waiting. Come sit next to me. I can't just keep waiting,
for a billboard to just say. So that's where my faith comes in, just knowing that he's gonna like come through for me and like really work on me and make the changes in me that needs to be done, you know? That's and that's a choice. Like you know what you need to do. You know what you need to do.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we have to really realize is like when it's time, you know. You know what you need to do. No, God is not going to beg you. You are out of your mind if you think the man is going to sit there and beg and plead. He's going to put it on your heart, and when you're ready to move.
I've been stuck on, we had a preacher come in and preach about the prodigal son again. And, you know, we hear that story a lot. But since he's preached on it, it's been stuck with me because, and I had it in my notes, but the father seen him from a distance. You know, the prodigal son, he ran off. He said, I want all of it. Let me go ahead and do my own thing. You know, and he made a choice. That was his choice. The father said, all right, bet.
Young and turn.
Yep. Let me go ahead, take it. You know, so he did. And so the fact that, and then when he got to his lowest, he said, you know what? The servants in my father's house ate better than me. He's over there eating out of a pig's thigh, you know, like eating what pigs eat. He's like, let me just go back home and just tell my father, you know, forgive me, I'll be your servant. And the father seen him from a distance. But the thing about it is, he didn't run to the son. He waited for the son to come and approach him. But he still welcomed him with open arms. And it's to say that God, when we're straying away from God, it's not to say that God is not going to, you know, he's not going to make us. But he's going to be there every single time whenever we make that choice to say, come, you know, welcome him with the robe. And, you know, and it's just like, that was just so comforting because that's what it is. God is just a loving father. And he loves us as we are. But we have to make the choice in order to come back. He's a gentleman, like we always say. You know, we have free will, and which is sometimes the hardest thing because every single day, like it says, you must give up your own way and take up your cross daily. It's a daily decision.
And I think that's what really sets like Christianity apart with other religions. Is other religions, you got to do a whole lot. You got to not eat for 50 days. Like, what? You know what I mean? And it's just like Christianity, you have free reign to do what you want to do. You know what you shouldn't do. You know what you should do. Now, do what you need to do. And I think it's so crazy that you said, you know, the story of the prodigal son is we think that when we do bad, we can't run to God because we're ashamed. He's not going to accept us. This man blew all his dad's money, said bye, left, and he went back to his father and was like, you know what, I understand, I probably only deserve to be your servant because I did kind of mess up. And his dad was like, no, like
the fattest cow.
Like you came back. You came back and like that's how I've had to take on life because I felt this. I used to feel so disgusted with my sins. Like even just bringing it to God, it just made me feel so disgusting. But it's like this is why he died. He died for this so that I can come to him. So I can come to him and be like, I'm sorry. And he's gonna be like, it's cool. Please, I'm begging you not to do it again. Let's grow up. Let's do better. Yeah, exactly. And so I think that's like out of all of the stories, I love that because it feels like such a relatable story in our youth, in our young adult age. Is we're gonna be dealing with so much sin. And it can often be so discouraging to still think that we're worthy when it's like we are still worthy no matter how many times we mess up. Like you just, once you know to do better, you got to do better. Like literally. You can't know what you're doing is wrong and keep on doing it. And that's when it's like, okay.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that's what my biggest thing is. It's like, I'll, you know, like go do things and I'll come back to God. Like, and I feel embarrassed, like embarrassed to even like, you know, to even want to, like, still pursue my relationship with God is because, like, I've done, like, so, I've sinned so much, you know, like, and it's
I'm getting the children.
I know.
But it's so crazy because we want to be so into the world, and the world is so judgy, like, you know, but God doesn't even judge us, like, and you know, but we still don't want to, like, you know, pursue Him, like, and that's crazy.
Even with this, because it's like, you know, with starting this, we were like, well, how are people gonna
look?
You know, because a lot of people who are watching us have seen us in environments of sin.
Oh my gosh.
So many.
Wait, let me just say this. So I know you guys didn't see me on the first episode, but that was a lot of I would say that was the devil just telling me, okay, like, no, you're not ready. Like, you have, like, you know, like, too much of, like, you know, like.
I'm sorry. You guys.
Oh my gosh.
Hold it together.
All of us.
Literally.
Finish. Now you gotta finish.
We're gonna get tissue.
Okay, yeah.
I know.
But that was, like, the thing. Like, I was like, okay, like, if I get on this first episode and people are gonna look at me like, this is fake. Like, you know, like, you're not ready. But I'm trying. Like, we're all. That's why we're here. Like, we're all, like, young Christians trying to do better. Like, you know. Yeah. But then, like I said, like, the world is so judgy, and God's not judging me for this. Like, that's why this week I told him, I'm like, I'm ready. Like, this next episode, I'm gonna be ready. Like,
and it's so crazy because we had thought that it was gonna be later, and we were gonna give her time. That's the thing about, like, Christianity that we want to normalize, because we know that there's stigmas. Like, we want you to come to God when you're ready, so there's no resentment. And we really did. Like, we thought that it was gonna be so much later.
And we talked about it. We said, you know, it's okay. You know, it's okay. But we're so excited to hear you. You know, like, we were literally just saying that. So it was like when you texted us that the day after. I think Z said it, you know, she was like, oh my gosh, it's crazy. We were just talking about it. That's literally
how it is.
And, you know, and that's what it's like. I feel like it was always, well, you need to get right or you're going to get left type of thing. But it's like, no, I'm going to hold your hand through this.
Right.
We're on different paths. But if I leave you, I'm supposed to be a representation of who Christ is. So if I was to sit here and judge you for not being ready, who would I be?
Exactly.
And I think that people need to realize, especially Christians, that every single thing that we do or say, we are representing our Father.
Exactly.
You know, just like our parents they implant things into us and morals and
like
things.
you're a reflection of
Exactly. Every time I go out, I'm gonna be a reflection of my parents, and that's just what we need to think about with God. And that's why, you know, like you said, we're trying, but we can't. And it's just like we can't do both. I've tried to do both,
and it didn't.
Okay, so the next scripture that we're going to go into is coming from 1 Corinthians 10:23, and it reads, "You say, I am allowed to do anything, but not everything is good for you. You say, I'm allowed to do anything, but not everything is beneficial."
Let that marinate a little bit.
Should we read it one more time?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You say, I am allowed to do anything, but not everything is good for you. You say, I am allowed to do anything, but not everything is beneficial.
We were just talking about God being a gentleman.
Yeah.
We have free will. You can do whatever you want.
Right.
But is it benefiting you in the long run? That's the question.
Yeah.
Is it good?
Is it good for you? That's just like eating. Yeah. Go ahead and eat that McDonald's. You talking about you on a diet right now, but is it going to benefit you later on?
Yeah.
You know, it's always, and that's making that choice. Yeah. Every single decision that we make. Is it good for you?
And I think, too, that goes into, I think I was joking about being young and turn. Yes, it is okay to, like, live in the present, obviously. Yeah. Like, we are young, but we also have to, like, remember that we grow older. And we have to start setting our life up.
Yeah.
And we have to just find that happy medium of how can we have fun but make sure that we're doing good to set ourselves up. And of course, people always joke, you're in your 20s. It's
like you're young.
It's young, make mistakes, and it's okay if it's a mistake.
Exactly.
But it's not okay when it's
a pattern.
Pattern, habit. You know what I mean? And I think for me, that was my mantra. Girl. Like, I'm young. I'm in my 20s. Yeah. Girl, you're grown, and you know what you're doing is not right. You need to be so serious. And I think, like, that scripture enough is we can do anything that we want. Again, we're talking about how Christianity gives us free reign. You can do whatever you want. There is nothing that you have to do. But not everything is good. And not everything is beneficial. And only you know what's good and beneficial for you. That ties into, we don't all have the same convictions. your conviction might not be mine, and you have to, that's when you have to really start tapping into what is your purpose, because then your purpose starts to align with what's good for you, what's beneficial for you. We have different purposes, but at the end we have the same goal, which is why we are able to be in community with each other, because at the end of the day we have the same goal. When we tie into friendships, relationships, environments, we have to start thinking like, you know, I love these people, but do they have the same goal as me? And I think that what I had to think of is, it's like we just think like, oh, I have to cut my friends off. You don't have to cut your friends off, but you have to cut the way that you present yourself in these situations. You know what I mean? Cut the activities that you do with these people, and I think that's the big thing for us at this age. We feel like we have to cut people off, and that's, I mean, unless you are not able, you know, to separate and put those boundaries, then yes.
And that's okay. But that's another thing. It's so hard. Like, it's honestly easier when you cut them off, because then it's going to be harder to go that direction because they're on something totally different, you know? Like, so it's kind of hard to balance it out. So if the easier thing is for you to just, you know, cut them off, then do that for you. Though.
Right.
Like,
but communicate that.
Right.
Don't go in making people feel like they the issue because of your lack of strength, you know, and let them know.
Oh, no, that makes sense.
In this walk, I'm trying to grow stronger in my relationship with Christ, and I have to do things that's going to help me, that's going to benefit that. Communicate that with your friends. I had a struggle doing that, and that's why it was so easy for me to fall back into it, because I was scared to talk about God and let him know that, you know, he's doing this in my life and I'm ready to commit to that. And because of that, I think I approached the cutoff situation wrong, you know, and I cut off rather than communicate that and let it gradually, naturally happen. And so if it happens that way, then so be it. But you knew where I was all along.
And that's good that you said that, because I feel like I am in that. And I think the biggest thing is, especially being in this age and starting to tap into our faith, is we don't want our friends who aren't believers to resent or hate what we believe in. And I think that that's really important. And when you say communication, it's being able to at least express that to them. So if they, you know, respect you and want to be on this journey with you, then they're able to adjust their personality to fit where you are. You know what I mean? But when we, you know, like you said, like when we just cut people off cold turkey, like, you know, then what they're receiving is, oh, she's all of a sudden in a Jesus now. She's too good, you know, but last week she was down for whatever, you know, and I think that, like you said, being able to just communicate, you know, I'm in a place in my life where I know that I am maybe not comfortable. You know, I'm not comfortable. I feel convicted. I feel discernment being in these environments. I still love you, but I think the trajectory of what our relationship, what our friendship looks like, it's going to have to change for me. And then respect what that looks like. You know, the other person doesn't have to continue to be in your life, but that is what you have. That's the give and take of this relationship.
You can't control their response. You know, you can only control that you went about it in a way that makes you feel okay. You know,
and at peace.
Yeah, exactly. I had to actually recently apologize to one of my best friends because it was a time. You know, I went to Grand Canyon University. When you go there, it's a completely different community. Everybody is, they got their hands lifted there.
Christian schools,
you know, and so it felt so good, and that's where I grew strongest in my walk with Christ. But when I came home, I couldn't find the balance, the in between. So I was either too judgy as a Christian, or I was doing what everybody else was doing. There was no in between for me. And I had to apologize to her recently, and I'm like, you know, I apologize for the times where I was trying to figure out my walk with Christ and didn't communicate that properly, and instantly went into judging you for where you were, you know, and I was like, hopefully I get it right this time. I don't, you know,
I don't know, but,
I don't know,
but I have good intentions going into it this time around.
And being able to go, you know, be in those, not to say that I don't regret, you know, going back to doing what I was doing, but being able to see myself in those positions also humbled me to know that it could be me as well in those positions. You know, and so if somebody is different in their walk with Christ, you know, like you said, communicating that, so maybe they are able to approach it differently, or when they leave, maybe they don't want to hang out with me no more, but they know where to come back to once they're ready to follow Christ.
Exactly. That is so good, because it's like, you know, it's okay for the people in your life to not be where you are. You know what I mean? But the best thing that's going to help you sleep at night is knowing that in the event that they want to come back, they know that I'm a safe space for them. And I think even with starting this podcast, like as I presented it to my friends who, you know, I honestly don't really know like their religion or like their status in that, but you know, I'm so grateful that they are respectful of my beliefs and they're supportive of me. You know what I mean? And it's just like if I just started this venture and just kind of not talk to them about it, like, you know, how could have that projected it to them? You know what I mean? And I think just understanding that, like, not only do we have to respect ourselves and our faith, but respect the people around us, the people who love us. And I think it's identifying the people who do care for us and giving them that. But then identifying the people who don't and knowing that cut them off.
Listen.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Cut them off. And I think that. I wrote here, you know, every day you have a choice to pursue God, and that comes with a grieving process. And that goes back to you saying that you're in mourning. And I think we presume that it's just going to be fairies and rainbows. No.
You're dying to yourself.
Hurting.
Oh my gosh. You're dying to everything that you
know. Everything you know.
Everything you were so comfortable with. And it hurts.
It does.
I'm telling you, it's been days.
Uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's been days where I just didn't feel like getting out of bed because everything, it's like, I don't know what this is going to look like. I can't see the next step, you know? But I chose to, every day I'm waking up and I'm choosing God because I know that if I don't, the day that I don't, I'm going to go into and it's going to be so much easier for me to be tempted by something else, you know? And so, like I said, in Sunday school, the desires and everything that he's promised me is still lined up. His promises still remain. However, the way that I thought I was going to get there, that's what I have to die to. Exactly. It's way different. So, but I trust him overall. And I think that's what it is, trusting him every single day. You can't commit to him on Sunday and think that same commitment is going to happen on Wednesday. It's an everyday commitment, everyday journey, and everyday sacrifice. You have to die to yourself. And it hurts. It is a grieving and mourning process. But it's doable. It's doable.
It's doable. There's a lot of things that, you know, I think when I had started to really get close to God, I'm like, it's going to be so hard. There's a whole bunch of things that were hard for me, and I did.
Choose your heart.
So we need to, like, I need to, and we all need to just decide, like, if this is important to us, you got to do what you need to do. And if it's not, then don't do it halfway. Don't do it halfway because that is rude to God.
That's it.
That is rude.
That's it. Because he's giving you his, like he said, he's giving you his all.
And then you want to halfway move with him. Don't. So and
I'll
when
choose
you're
you today.
Right. So if we leave you guys off with anything, it's when you feel it in your heart, move. When you are going into environments where you're starting to feel uncomfortable, move. When you're around people where you start to feel uncomfortable, move. That's God telling you. You know what I mean? Don't try to jump ahead because you think that's right, like the prodigal son. His one son did everything perfect. But was it that genuine?
Yes, because he still ended up, oh, girl, don't let me get on that. Because he was still bitter in the end.
Bitter,
you know,
his
heart wasn't there.
Exactly.
It was just out of the thinking that he had to, you know, and that's when he went, like you said, that cold turkey.
That cold turkey.
You know, so in both of them, in that predicament, they could have went about it better.
Right.
But that Father, our God, is still so loving in either positions.
Exactly.
You know? Wow. I'm so glad you brought that. Because that, literally.
I mean, and that's really what it is. So when you feel it and when it is your time to move. And when it is not, sit where you are and just pray to God and ask him, you know, show me what you want from me. Show
and he'll
me the
start
goal.
slowly, taking things and, you know, putting things in your life that's going to help you, like with your walk with God, and taking things away that's going to help you. And it might hurt. It's going to hurt.
But it's a beautiful journey. And
it's going to hurt.
It's so worthwhile, you know, because like I said, the peace that you experienced throughout it all, you know, everything that I'm letting go, I still have that internal peace.
And even though it might be uncomfortable, he'll give you, like, you know, that peace,
comfort,
knowing that comfort,
that
you'll,
that it's gonna be okay. It's gonna you'll live. Like I always look back in times in my life where I just felt like, oh my God, like I'm never gonna get out of this. Like this is terrible. Like God, just take me out. Like I am already dramatic, but I really did. They're laughing because they know that. But like I really was just like, God, like I can't go on anymore. Like I'm begging you to take me out. And then I look back and I'm like, oh,
wasn't that serious?
Like, girl,
you wanted me to take you out?
Please.
That is so funny.
Please. You know, so it's like, it is okay to sit in your grieving process. It is okay to mourn. but know that it's for a reason, and know that there is something on the other side.
Yeah, and make that choice daily. Daily. You can't reach your fullest potential without God. He's our creator. He knows exactly how we're supposed to function. So imagine trying to do everything without him. You know, so I encourage you to it did not work every single time. And I encourage you to make that choice and be okay with it and make it daily. And just trust God that he knows all, and he is going to lead us to the victory.
Yes. So we just want to thank you guys for just coming with us and just going on this journey. This is the first episode of our series. We are so excited to have other guest speakers. If you have any suggestions, we are so open to suggestions.
Topics that they want us to cover, like anything,
What's on your heart? What are you struggling with? Let us dive in. We probably can relate to you. We probably been there.
Been through it.
Done that. You know what I mean?
Going through it right now.
So we just, as always, want this to be as interactive. And we just want to leave you all with our takeaway for the week.
So our takeaway is, how can you add God into your week and your faith into your daily life this week? Like we said, it's a daily task. You can't just make that one commitment one day and not do it the next day. And we want you to add and not subtract. So add God, whether that looks like a devotion in the morning, listening to a worship song when on your way to work, listening to a Christian-based podcast like the In Between. Anything that you may feel in your heart to do, try it out and see if it works for you. Like I said, take it to God, pray about it, journal, and we will pick back up on it. And also comment how you're going to do that. We would love, like we said, it's an interactive journey. So comment down below or comment on any of our socials and let us know how you're doing that this week. We'll hold you accountable while you're also holding us accountable.
Yes. Thank you guys so much. Make sure to click our link in our bio where it's going to show our link tree. We have a prayer request form. We have all the links to our socials. We actually created a worship playlist. So if you want to hear, what you're listening to, we have alternative, we have gospel, soul. We got it all in there. So
I feel like we need to make some covers too, so they can hear us sing. You know?
I think we do need a few vocal lessons just to get back to where we were. But make sure you click on our link tree to see everything in between, and catch us next week as we go into our next topic, which is make God a habit.
Ooh, that's gonna be
Yes. Well, bye everybody. Thank you.
Bye.